machine learning right now is the industrialized money printing machine.
Personalization is no longer a nice to think have. It is something that's becoming the new norm.
If I had to bet, I think that what is going to change is actually the processes and the journeys of how we do things, the customers and also internally.
So welcome to CVM Trends 2026 Telecom Edition. It's our second trends report. It's packed with amazing insights from global telecoms. And today we have a really amazing CVM crowd from all over the world. So thank you, Silvia Gomez, for joining us from Australia.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Sahar Ehsan, joining us from Kuwait.
Most welcome.
And thank you, Marek Grabowski, joining us from Poland. So as you can see, we're all over the world. So the report is pretty longish. There are a lot of insights. So what we will do, we will basically jump straight into the insights, and I will ask a lot of questions to hear your perspective. So in the report, we cover 4 different themes. Theme number 1 is customer value management role in organizations. And here we noticed several things. So thing number 1 is we see that already half of CVM teams are reporting to the C side. Compared to last year, it was only a third. So I am super happy about this improvement. We also see that 80% of telecoms have at least one CVM related KPI in their company scorecards or OKRs. But only half of them have a strategy how to achieve them. Additionally, the part which disappoints me the most is that 71% of CVMs say that they are still barely recognized in their organization, even though they produce anywhere from 2 to 20% revenue uplift. So for me, it's like, oh my God, CVMs are winning the game, but they are losing a PR battle inside. And there are many, many more insights. But I hope that you guys read the report and kind of find them yourself. My first question goes, Marek, to you. It's we see that CVM teams are getting more exposure to C side, moving from 1/3 of CVM teams to 50% of CVM teams reporting to the C side. From your experience in Orange Polska, do you remember what was the turning point when your CVM team actually started reporting to C side?
It was 3 years ago, and I believe it was already Orange being in a trend that all telcos want to be an AI company, and AI means data, means working heavily on the data, and also building value from the base, which is right now one of the key elements of the strategy. And at that point, this was the turning point that the CVM function was named and also started to report to C level. And since then, AI and AI-based CVM is like one of the 4 pillars of the strategy for B2C.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember those, like the first decision that you got made in the C side?
What is really important for CVM is the transversal element of all the activities that we do. And the sphere of influence needs to be very wide. And then working with CEO and vice president responsible for B2C, was much easier to change the role of channels, especially telesales, which is key channel for CVM, also digital. So the role of telesales moved from retention to acquisition, which is more difficult. So there was internal resistance in the company, and without working with C-level, I think it would be very, very difficult to overcome the resistance.
Silvia, you have led a lot of transformations in many large organizations, financial and telecom. From your experience, what is the difference between the teams who have C-level access and don't?
Thank you. And thank you again for having me here today. I think the difference is very significant. It basically means that if you are part of the C-suite conversation, not only you will get more focus and prioritization of the resources, but you also will have the ability to shape that strategy moving forward, making sure that the customers, the value that you can grow from the customer base is a key element and pillar in the growth strategy for the year and the long-term plan as well. So that is basically what I have seen. Otherwise, it becomes very diluted in the operational day-to-day, maybe more ad hoc and reactive work versus being the driver that really inspires the organization towards the customer centricity and the value management.
So, Silvia, imagine that there is a CEO now in a telecom organization who is thinking, okay, maybe we should do this transformation. And kind of what would be your advice to that CEO?
So I think considering that the maturity of CVM has evolved, but there is still a long way to go. And also considering that winning more customers from the competitors, in particular in telecommunications, is really hard. I think that is kind of eye-opening for the CEOs that sometimes might have not been close to the CVM function and find that CVM will be like the golden hen, if you like, the diamond there that can unlock huge value from truly understanding the customers that the competitors wouldn't understand that much from your customers' database, and unpacking what are the growth opportunities, the differentiation that you can drive as a CEO to get CVM the central engine that powers growth.
Thank you, Silvia, for kind of such an inspiring answer, because CVM function is really kind of important function in revenue driving and revenue contribution. But we still see that like 71% of CVM teams feel underappreciated in organization. Mm-hmm. And Sahar, the question for you is like, what is the problem and how should we fix it?
I think the visibility gap comes from how we communicate impact. Like we all know the team is working, but what resonates with the leaders or other teams is that, okay, sure, you did an activity, but what is the business outcome of it? So coming from our own experience, to get this recognition, to make CVM's impact visible, I always focus on three things. So first thing is that translate data into business stories. Like show how a campaign or an initiative solved a business problem, not just how it performed. And then link this to the strategic KPI, such as the ARPU lift, retention, and it doesn't always have to be monetarily. It can be customer delight, customer experience. And more importantly, show it visually. The higher we go in the levels, the more, how we say that we have to dumb it down, because that's how it is. People are, there's so much going on in the mind. So just show visually. Dashboards are good, sure, but show a story. Simple terms that, okay, this is a trend, this is before, this is after, and this is the immediate short-term future, so on and so forth. The thing is that we do so much work but most of the time CVM teams, they still talk like analysts, not as business partners. And this is where it's a vicious cycle. That is where we get lost. We report the numbers, we report the results, but we always miss the point that why does it matter? So once you define like this, start presenting like this, naturally, up to all levels, they will have this specific interest, and then it will be more impactful, and then it will resonate with the leaders, and naturally you'll be more recognized.
So do you understand correctly that instead of learning AI this year, you should learn storytelling?
100%. No, true. Absolutely. Because we are here to bridge the gap between data and decisions, not just reports. We are a growth enabler. That is where CVM, holds. It's not just, reporting. So once you understand that, for sure, it will progress. Yeah.
So when we talk about this impact and technical stuff, etc., what one thing that really surprised me was that the most common CVM team size reported by the teams was around 5 people. It was like, I don't know, 40% of the teams reported that. And over 60% of teams said they are super under-resourced. And 72% of teams said that they are mostly doing ad hoc stuff. So here, for me, here is the question for all of you guys. Is it normal to have only 3 to 5 people team if you want to achieve big impacts and kind of feel that you are contributing, not only doing random things? So maybe let's start, Marek, with you.
Yes, that figure was actually the most shocking figure of all the insights from the report. The number reported is like shockingly low. Myself, I tried to have a benchmark. So I would say, looking at the companies that I know, Orange and outside Orange, it seems like managing the base should be around 30 to 40% of all marketing resources. Maybe even more. I think maybe this is the lower benchmark. And judging by that figure, it seems that many of the companies, many of the respondents were smaller companies, but we know from the report that actually there were many mid-size and large companies. So it seems very low, and it seems like those teams are somewhere hidden inside different functions. Looks very strange without the proper resources. Even if you have proper resources, then you need to allocate some time to automate many business as usual tasks. I've seen teams working and repeating the same campaigns over and over and over again, and without automation. With automation, they free time and resources to have some more strategic initiatives, to take insights and then develop new approaches, which is crucial, and to grow the impact of CVM. Initially, though, those cross-sell, upsell, retention programs, I think many of the companies that they have it already. That is part of the report also, but all other programs, they are crucial to grow the impact after the first plateau. So the number of resources, shocking fact.
Mm-hmm. Silvia?
Yes, I completely agree with Marek. I believe that number is highly underestimated, if you can say that. If we look at the organizations that I have worked at, or also my competitors as well, I agree that CVM is probably the largest team under a CMO or under a chief of revenue, marketing and revenue, because obviously different organizations call the roles differently. But reporting into that C-suite, I will say CVM is one of the largest teams. And it's also quite diverse in skills and the complexity of the task that we perform. Obviously, if we link this data point with the ad-hoc data point, it's another shocking stat. I generally believe that CVM has a huge opportunity to automate what are the campaigns, what are the customer needs, and the more mature the organization is, not just in acquiring, growing, and retaining, but also driving that overall engagement end to end across different moments that matter. The more evolved, the more automated the organization is, I think the fewer activities will have to be ad hoc. And then if I just may link this also with the other point that you mentioned around the work is not recognized, I think then here somehow we hit the nail on the head, because I believe CVM at times is perceived as teams that you can ask questions and they will just respond to your demands across the organization, from product leads, from channel leads, and other teams. I think that sometimes the ability to ask why this is needed and also compare whether the request is connected to part of the CVM strategy that is already as always on executed, or as a trigger, behavioral trigger, or personalization campaigns going out. The ability to cross-reference the ask with what is happening and what's the outcome of what's happening. I think that will help to reduce the amount of ad hoc and unrecognized work.
And Sahar,
As mentioned by my peers, for sure, automation is one big thing that needs to be done, whether it takes 1 month or 6 months, but it's an investment that really pays off. One more thing, that while your team is developing, if the managers and leaders can have a different mix of people in the CVM. This is something actually we did it eventually, when we expanded from just 2 people to 9. So, and it's a hack that really worked. So of course we need analytical thinkers and critical thinkers. That's the base of CVM mindset. But we also selected talent from cross-functional departments like VI, like technical, integration, offer design, etc. What helped with this was that whenever more work came ad hoc, which was equally important for the business and the KPIs, they could think strategically and to an extent also implement it, and our dependency on other teams became less. Hence, our team became even more important. We started to complete tasks even more. And that mix really helped us, come closer to our, KPI strategies, so on and so forth. So one thing, as mentioned, automation is 100% important. Then building the right mix of people is important. And then primarily at the beginning of every quarter, year, week, or month, protect your time, within your team, and be vocal about it that, okay, this is my strategy for the coming quarter, week, etc. And no matter what ad hoc or not ad hoc work comes, it should be in line with that. Because at times it very much happens that the task seems very important, but it's drifting way apart from the real goal. So once it's more like having a mindset of the team as well. So once these three things are there, which is nothing but, the right amount of people, automation, and discipline to protect the focus, I think that is how, irrespective of the size of the team, they can, at least complete the tasks and, progress further.
Thank you all, team. It's like very interesting perspectives. I think even through these 3 answers, I learned a lot. Now, let's move to the second big theme in the report, which is about the work of customer value management. So here we basically analyze different CVM programs, personalization perspectives, etc. What we noticed this year is that when we talk about main CVM programs like customer onboarding, upsell, cross-sell of core services, and retention, these programs seem to be really mature at telco. So it doesn't mean that they are super good or super bad, but they basically are mature. But when we talk about more experienced related programs such as like loyalty, involuntary churn management, next best offer, next best action, and many other things. These are still in the very early stages because only 25% of telecoms report that they actually have them in place and in a mature stage. We also noticed that over 60% of teams, they basically don't have a one-to-one type of decisioning or personalization, and majority of campaigns are still running on, let's say, bigger or smaller segments based. And the last part, which was very interesting for me, was that 50% of companies, I call them fast companies, as they are kind of tracking all the KPIs on a daily or weekly basis. And then another 50% of the companies, I call them slow companies, which track everything on a monthly basis. So there will be quite a few questions for you guys, to go through those. So Silvia, I would like to start from you because I remember your love program.
Yes.
And the question for you is like, why is it so easy to mature core programs, upsell, cross-sell, retention, etc., and so difficult to implement the experience-based programs?
Yes, I think it's a great question. And yes, it all comes back to inspiring that customer love across all the moments that matter in the life cycle. Yes, in very, very brief terms, CVM is about acquiring, growing, and retaining, but that is the hygiene, if you like. Then if you really want to be different and better than your competitors, you need to learn more about your customers. You need to learn more about the products and propositions that you offer. And then you need to make sure that you drive that happy path or signature experience end to end in each of those journeys. To do that, that requires a lot of effort, but also a lot of discipline in terms of what is the customer experience we want to drive across the omni different channels, what are the key KPIs that will drive satisfaction and love across each of those journeys. And it becomes a more cross-functional task. That means that you need to make sure that to improve, let's say, the saves journey, not just the overall retention, but the saves journey, you need to combine a little bit of, if you like, predictions, like what are those emerging patterns that I can see? What are those customers that start reaching out and ask questions that might sign that something is not right? And then how you follow up with in a short period of time to have that thermometer or barometer of what is the customer sentiment. And then you need to design propositions that outperform the always on activity for those customers that require more attention. There are also different segments, geographies that might require even more than what we offer to the general customer base. So it's a very personalized, tedious piece of work. But overall, if we listen to the customers, if we are able to understand the needs, if we are able to refresh the needs in alignment with the brand proposition and their strategic priorities, then we will be able to get customers to love us and to love the brand and therefore to stay longer. But it is complex. It requires cross-functional prioritization and funding, and sometimes that is harder to achieve.
I think this kind of deeper personalization is a very important topic. So the next question goes, Sahar, to you. So basically 60% of telecoms report that, for example, do not have like one-to-one type of recommendations where like everything is deeply personalized or decisions are deeply personalized. Do you think all should go to this path, or how deep should they go to this path, or is it important to go to this path in a telco context?
See, in theory, yes. the ultimate goal should be one-to-one relevance, because today's customer expects nothing. So personalization is no longer a nice to think have. It is something that's becoming the new norm, driven by the customer experiences on the streaming platforms, Siri suggestions, something as simple as that. So the customer now anticipate that, something should be tailored for them, and this is the constant feedback we get from our human agents, on the telesales and branches, that customer expects that you should know me. Why are you offering me XYZ when you know my usage is XYZ, so on and so forth. So the first thing is, let's define what is personalization. When it comes to CVM, personalization doesn't mean that we are going to send out different messages to different people. It means we will create different journeys and experiences. Now that alone comes at a way later stage, because there's so much slicing and dicing to do before that, in the form of, number one, do we have the right data or the 360 view of the customer to begin with? Then do we have the advanced analytics, layering on top of it? Do we have automation of AI and, machine learning? Only then it comes in. And that is why, even though most telcos want it, and that should be the optimal goal, not only in telcos, actually across all businesses, even retailers, it's just that these are the blockers that, that come in. And as Silvia said, that some things, they take time. We really have to see that what is the company culture right now? Are they focusing on the short-term KPIs or not? Because all of this, the process that I showed, these are like long-term projects and financially very expensive. So this is how, I will round it up. It all depends on, number one, where the organization stands in the first place before even reaching the later stage of personalization. And to begin with, the data, advanced analytics, the investment of time as well that the organization is willing to do.
I would also like to touch a little bit at the channels perspective, because what we see from the report, that basically all outbound channels like SMS, email, push notifications, they are available and highly personalized. Basically, kind of over 75% of telcos report that they are super personalized. But when we start talking about inbound channels like web self-care, mobile app, chatbots, the ultimate AI thing in organizations, we see that only 36% of chatbots seems to be personalized. And maybe I would like to direct this question for Marek. Why do you think it's so easy to personalize outbound and so hard to personalize inbound?
Well, I think that is somehow embedded in the nature of the work that we do. So first of all, we know our customers, and in the beginning, after we have all those machine learning models, we have a set of attributes per customer that are like really personalized to these customers. All those attributes, these are only these customers and no one else, and that is the nature of machine learning. And then we do kind of segmentation, personalization. Even we have many microsegments. Recently, I have realized that we are doing like 1,200 microsegments. Then we do the offer assignment, and then customer perception. It may be that still it is a mobile offer or a fixed offer with the discount that is, well, maybe different from the offer from ATL, but still it is like, looks like again somehow commodity, even though for ourselves it is truly personalized. So that is first element. Second, on the chatbot, on the inbound channel, I would say mobile app is also highly personalized. All the communication in mobile app highly personalized. I think even the most personalized channel, because then we are also we have more elements on the communication personalization itself. But then call center and chatbots, inbound chatbots, well, the customer need there is somehow technical, maybe a billing inquiry. And then, of course, you can do personalization with Gen AI in terms of how you communicate with the customers. But facts, figures, processes there, they are very similar. Maybe in the future, as Sahar said, maybe they should be also really personalized, but so far it is, I think, the most automated and industrialized process is there, and we just may use Gen AI to make it more personalized to the customer, but all the machine inside, it's very industrialized, highly effective processes.
Mm.
I would like to add something, if I also may, into this topic.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. I also think that the best combination is when outbound and inbound work in sync. We can use all the knowledge we have from customers to be as personalized as we think is relevant for each activity. However, there are things that we don't know, and that might be personal circumstances of the customers. So when using the personalization of outbound activities and then additional, if you like, offers or care or support to customers through the inbound channels, that's something that has worked for us in the past. And I have also seen that this is the right combination in the sense of investment and return, because you couldn't apply the same offer for an inbound communication or interaction after you have already applied the personalized discount from an outbound perspective to everyone in the base. However, combining both and ensuring that you get to know the customer better and more information that sometimes you cannot storage in the database because of privacy issues. Getting to know the customer in the conversation helps you to be even further personalized at the same time that they work in sync.
Yeah, I think this is not a very easy
Yeah.
thing to achieve. It's like everybody says omnichannel is a thing, but when we check the reality, the implementation, only few have implemented it actually. So because this is a lot of work, and as Sahar said, takes time, takes resources. One more thing which I wanted to ask your opinion is that we see that 50% of the companies basically track all the KPIs on a daily and weekly basis, and the other 50% they track on a monthly basis. Do you guys think is there a difference between those companies, and is it important on how often do you track it? Maybe a quick round for everyone.
I don't understand how they can operate without daily trading numbers.
Exactly.
They build up. You need the daily trading numbers, the weekly summary, and then the monthly. And then obviously you have the quarterly review of the forecast of the annual plan, and then the end of the year. Absolutely. I would love to learn how to run the business without daily trading. That will save us a lot of time as well.
The same from me. Daily tracking is crucial. And even daily, sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes you want to see like real-time figures, especially for different campaigns. So daily, the daily tracking is essential. I cannot imagine monthly tracking. Maybe weekly, but well, if you have daily tracking, then you cannot imagine work with a lower frequency of the updates.
And one more question about the KPIs. So again, all telcos track all the core KPIs, retention, ARPU, etc. And we noticed that basically half of the telcos already track customer experience type of KPIs like NPS and related metrics, and less than half, basically above 40% of telcos say that they track customer lifetime value. So the question for you guys is it important to track these numbers? Are they overrated? What is your basically opinion? Marek, I would like to start from you. this time?
So for CVM, I think it is really crucial to track value numbers. Maybe customer lifetime value, maybe other KPIs, but you need to have that because otherwise, well, CVM is about value. So you are not tracking your most important KPI. And in general, well, all telcos, I think NPS revolution was, well, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I even don't remember the first program that we did in establishing NPS, but it was roughly 20 years ago. So I think most of the telcos, they do track NPS KPI. I think many of them, they don't really combine value and NPS KPIs per customer. As NPS can be also from market surveys. There is, of course, touchpoint NPS and predictive NPS. So you also can predict NPS of your customers even without interaction or the feedback from a customer. And I think this should be combined with value KPIs. And then you have a true potential for growth.
I don't know, Sahar, Silvia, would you like to add your thoughts?
No, as like Marek said, they should be combined basically because NPS is more, and similar KPIs are more, you can say human. We need that sentiment. But at the same time, what resonates more with the CVM obviously is the lifetime value. But where we lack is that to get this, true value of the customer, we need a lot of history and accurate data integration. And that is where it becomes a challenge, which is why most of the telcos actually don't even look at it because they're not able to calculate it. So definitely the future lies in integrating both of them to understand the value and also the health of the, relationship of the customer that we have with us. Yeah.
I agree. I think it's a critical metric that really measures whether the job of CVM is delivering the expectation or it's not. CVM, despite all the ad-hoc activities, the automations, everything, is about driving value, customer value in the base. And you need to have a standardized metric that helps you measure the progress and the impact you are making. Customer lifetime value, 100%. In addition to that, there are different combinations that we can use to deliver the strategic segmentation, not just the behavioral segmentation that you will build for predictive models. Customer engagement or stickiness is something normally used as well for this one. And at the end of the day, you need to drive more customers to the engagement and the value generation pool. We had also a lot of conversations about NPS, customer NPS, touchpoint NPS, process NPS, a lot. And also whether it's actually the best metric or whether satisfaction will give us a better representation of what's happening and also a better ability to measure the progress of the activities that we put in place. But definitely that emotional CX metric, it's critical to deliver the outcomes and the lasting customer relationships.
Thank you for helping me to kind of wrap up these aspects. Now let's move to, for me personally, the most boring chapter, which is technology and data. I say it is boring because basically if we compare to last year, nothing has changed except three things. Because it seems that all the technology is matured, etc. But here are three changes, and I will start from the smallest one. And now 37% of telecoms report that they have achieved unified customer view. A third is a terrible number, by the way. But if we compare to last year, it was 1 out of 4. So it's kind of small progress, but it is important progress. The other thing which we see is that basically half of telecoms this year report that they have more than 10 machine learning models running in production. Last year, it was only 26. So this is basically a huge jump. And another huge jump is that we have Gen AI as a technology availability in the organization. This year, it's over 63%. Telcos report that they have this technology available compared to 26% last year. So these are kind of basically three changes that we noticed compared to last year. Last year, kind of, you can look at the report, everything kind of, and you can see the detailed numbers. And here goes some tough questions. Let's start, Sahar, from you. And I call this question a data foundation crisis, if you like. So 63% of telcos still don't have a unified customer view. So what does this unified customer view actually mean, and why it is so important?
So for all our listeners, basically, let's define what's a unified, customer view. It simply means that every system, whether it's network, billing, CRM, digital, retail, you name it, looks at the same person in the same way. So it's one profile that captures the customer full behavior, journey, and the value. So it sounds very ideal to have, but in reality, it's extremely hard to achieve. Why? Because telecom systems have been built in silos over many years and with, serving each of a different purpose, and the owners are completely different, and merging this, real-time data with, it's operationally very complex to, merge all of these systems. Moreover, to get the unified view, we have to get the company to agree on what defines a customer. Is it a SIM card, a number? Is it an account? Is it a household? So this is where, first things, this is where it takes most time. And this is where, it's like multiple departments and teams need to work together on it. So that alone is, you can say, the reason why I believe 60% of people do not have a unified view to begin with. But it's extremely important. Yes, we should have it, because at the end of the day, in our world, data is power. Without a unified foundation, we can't build intelligent decision making, all the personalization that we talked about, all the Gen AI, it cannot be built. So hence, a single customer view isn't about a database. It's also about understanding the customer. And once you have that, you really have the power to basically reach the stars in the CVM world.
So continuing this line, as we see, majority of telcos still don't have a unified customer view. And Silvia, a question for you. The Gen AI trend is rushing like crazy, but the question is, are we building the bright future on a broken foundation,
Yeah, I can understand why you asked the question that way. It could feel like that. I think Gen AI is definitely going so fast that we need to accelerate the data governance and data quality to maximize the power that Gen AI enables. What I think is happening right now is that Gen AI is working in restricted environments, if you like. Obviously, we need to make sure that we minimize the risk and that we respect the different regulations across the different countries and continents. In Australia, there are guardrails in terms of how we respect and protect customer privacy, how we ensure that there is a clear explainability and observability of what the Gen AI model is putting forward. And also just super simplifying that there is human in the loop, making sure that we prevent and correct any hallucination. There are more, but these are the critical ones. I think that making sure that the ecosystem, as I said, is restricted and the data quality has been achieved when we use Gen AI is what is enabling organizations to continue to progress very quickly on Gen AI. But as I said, if we want to maximize the power of Gen AI, having 100% that single customer view, it's critical. it's almost impossible as well. From a mathematical perspective, I almost see the single customer view as reaching the infinite. Like you can train to it, but you'll never reach it. But you have to train to it because overall it exponentially boosts your capabilities for Gen AI, Agentic AI, and others.
So it's not so bad.
It's not so bad. There are ways around it.
Yes. And Marek, I remember talking with you a couple of years ago, and you were explaining about all this amazing ML ops stuff and running, tens and tens of machine learning models. And now the world caught up, it's like half of the telcos run at least 10 models, So could you tell us a little bit about how the end state looks like? So do you run thousands of models, or do you reach some peak? And basically, how does it look like when you reach the top?
Mm-hmm. So first point, technology is not boring. I think there is a lot of excited stuff in there, especially that I'm a really business person. And when we have those technology sprints, well, it's all interesting for me. Although I have to say, a lot of time I need some explanation what is really there. But indeed, I also really think machine learning right now is the industrialized money printing machine. And compared to Gen AI, well, first of all, data foundation. Without data foundation, there is a big issue. It was already covered by Sahar, so I don't go there. But once you have it, then when I compare tangible results that really has monetary value, I would say 95% of the value created is based on somehow based on machine learning. Of course, there are business ideas, innovations, etc. But the real engine inside it's machine learning. So that is the first element. And then we talk a lot about Gen AI, Agentic AI. I love the subject. I am very excited. But when I see the real results, then I have numbers in machine learning and numbers in Gen AI, very, very low so far. In the future, and I'm not speaking about operational call center effectiveness elements. So for CVM in the future, for sure, I love the ideas, all the personalization. And machine learning. I think 10 machine learning models, it's like kind of the first step when you start to realize that you have to have the more industrialized, more machine learning operation approach, because with 10 you still can have like one machine learning model, one data scientist responsible for the model. They can be a bit different models, different approaches. But once you start growing, then you really need primary data model, then pipelines, etc. All that calculated automatically, and then you have like more models. And we have built more than 100 models. Some of them are already decommissioned. And we reached plateau in operation, roughly 60 models. That seems to be quite enough for running the operation as we do now. And maybe in the future there will be some thousands. What we see is also IT stacks that do the models automatically for the smallest business issue, and you can have a model. But then those models, unsupervised models, and they give the results. I think those results are better than the statistical guessing. But when you want to have many fine-tuned models, then the amount of work needed to have it it's I think too much for now. So 100, maybe less, maybe more, seems like a reasonable number.
Marek, I think you just rebranded the machine learning operations. It's like the new term, industrialized money printing machine.
Yes.
Sounds amazing. Can I use this term?
Of course. I contributed to making CVM famous.
And the last theme in our report was we asked CVM teams about what strategic projects and initiatives they see and invest into in their organizations. And here, basically, a couple of things stand out for me. Thing number one is like 65% of leaders are now investing in CVM as a strategic imperative in the organization. So I think this is like amazing achievement.
Yes.
It's like 2/3 of the companies says that CVM is important and that we need to increase customer value, not volume. This probably is related to the fact that the markets are also maturing. Half of teams say that they are prioritizing fixing their trusted data foundation, and 64% of them are also saying that they are actually actively investing into these next year. And with the Gen AI dominance, for me, the interesting fact was that 63% of telecoms report that they have this technology available, but only 1/3 report that they are investing actively into new use cases, whether it would be a proof of concept or basically full deployment. So it seems that the gap is still there between kind of the availability of technology and putting it in operations. So these were kind of several things that we noticed in the report, and you can read it. But what I would like to ask you as CVM professionals, I would like to ask you, what will you be investing next year in your organization, if you can kind of show some things? Yeah. So first question is, let's say Sahar, let's start from you. What are like key priorities from your side?
I think one key priority, which we are discussing right now because we are doing the roadmap, is the real-time decisioning, basically. Because we have realized once you act on time, in the moment, at the right time, everything else will fall in, which is the personalization, the churn prevention, upsell, etc. So I think it's the link between the insight that we already have and the action we want to take, but we want to take it fast. So definitely real time and fast decisioning across, the omni-channel that we call about, and across various channels.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Silvia?
Yes. From my perspective, it's not just CVM, it's more a simplification strategy across the organization. How can we bring platforms together so that we can deliver that omni-channel experience, not just from a CVM perspective, but also from operations perspective, and the role of Gen AI across the organization, not just, again, from a CVM perspective. How we can use it from network perspective to be more preventative and proactive in resolving issues, how we can use it to deliver better CX across the whole organization, how we can use it as well from a technology implementation perspective, and then overall in the roles that we do across the business to make our day-to-day more efficient and effective. So those are things that are critical to the business, not just CVM, and that we are working on at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And Marek?
So maybe start with the advice for like CVM early starters. So fix the data and then automate. And for us, the key element, it was mentioned already by Sahar, it's real time and real time for dynamic pricing. And what I'm dreaming about right now is the pricing agent. So the AI agent that is personalizing the price per customer, and then maybe when in contact with the customer, then leading the conversation with customers using all the machine learning attributes that we have, but really optimizing real time in the contact with customer during the conversation with customer. So that would be my dream.
That sounds amazing. And I have a last controversial question for every one of you. So imagine that it doesn't matter if you work in this organization or not. What would be your kind of trend or one thing that you bet that will definitely change in upcoming 3 or 5 years, and you can bet your career on, you know? So this is a tough question, I know. Sahar, again, let's start from you.
I think it is hyper-personalization. I'm just obsessed right now with it because this is the constant feedback, as I said, we are getting from the customer. Okay, so hyper-personalization backed by AI. So like a combined AI and human combo. So that is something I'm really betting on because, as I said, even if we look outside the world of telco, all major industries are investing in that, and that is where the future is.
Well, also AI. I think I have two answers. One, it's in CVM. It's really AI leading the contact with customers and making somehow human agents less needed. And that leads me to my second answer. If I would like to really have like maybe not a quick win, but medium-term win, I would like to be a call center manager and then cut the cost by 80%. Sorry for that.
No, it's like you might get promoted, you know.
Well, I was there. Now value management is the right moment for me.
For me, if I had to bet, I think that what is going to change is actually the processes and the journeys of how we do things, the customers and also internally. I think that with Gen AI, with agentic AI, with AI overall and the new technologies and companies that are emerging, not all of them will remain. There will be something more like the dot-coms probably boom that we had many years ago. But I generally believe that the way we interact with each other within our organizations and also with customers is going to be different. And yeah, I love to learn what that looks like, and I'm sure it will be better. I'm sure there will be many more data points to not being able to reach that infinite single customer view. Customers will also interact with other organizations differently. They will have many more data points as well. And we will be chasing a way to effectively create those data points in a way. Maybe there is a holistic customer record or consumer record or enterprise record where organizations like in banking, open banking, right, can get access to the information that customers are willing to share to be getting better services industry-wise. I don't know, but it's going to be different.
Thank you, Tim. It was super fun to discuss with you all the CVM trends. I hope that we will meet next year and check out how accurate you were with your predictions.
We'll see.
So thank you once again. I invite everybody to read through the report and let's make CVM famous together.